Good morning. I don't want to get hit with copyright. Oh, well, isn't nature extraordinary? Well, there's the thing. I'm not the first to notice. Everything bursting forth. We've just had rain. So, life is for living. I have it in mind of this lady I met over the weekend, 60s, early 60s, 2 daughters, 20, 24, and diagnosed with terminal cancer. Apparently she's in remission, I think, she said, but they can't offer a cure, so is it a day, a week, a month, or a year she's got to live, sort of thing. I didn't inquire as to what the cancer was. And then last night I went, I don't know why these things pop up on YouTube, but I'm afraid her name hasn't gone into my head, but an Iranian woman who turned out to be a brilliant mathematician, Mirzakhani, I think. Right, Miriam Mirzakhani, I think. Friends turned up. And she died at only 40 with cancer, breast cancer, I think. But she is recognized. She was the first woman to get a special prize. It's been all men for the last 80 years. Oh, do women have brains too? Sort of thing. Careful. There, of course, was Marie Curie, who was a very well-known physicist and chemist, I think, who more or less discovered radiation, I think. I'm right there, but other stuff too, I'm sure. So, what a miraculous thing the world is. All those little chemicals knowing where to go. I found myself just wondering now, how does, an ivy know that it's an ivy, and a black currant know it's a black currant, etc., etc., and a lilac know it's a lilac. And then how much of the DNA of those different plants is actually similar? And if we look at our DNA, they can now sequence it fully quite readily, I think. I think there are relatively few, or there's an awful lot shared, and you can trace where origins, where your ancestor came from, this Russian steppes or whatever, I don't know. So the whole thing's miraculous, so life itself is a bit of a miracle, quite frankly. So there we are, ramble as usual. These are sort of conversations with God, actually. No one else to talk to, so I talk to this machine instead. Ha! It's actually part of the rationale. I love Beethoven, amongst others, but primarily Beethoven, as it were. Although I played the Bach cello suite number 1 before, listened to it, played by Pau Casals. I didn't play it. They poke out the eyes of a little songbird, possibly a blackbird actually, so it can't see, and then all it can do is sing. So for Beethoven, he could hear all the stuff in his head, as it were. I mean, he was musically trained, but he was going deaf, I think, very early on in his 20s. I think I may be right that it was brought on by the fact that his father had syphilis. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, the sort of point being that one doesn't know how, if you're given we're onto humans now. If you're given some sort of cross to bear, and depending how you bear it, is what matters. So I watched this lovely little film yesterday. It's got this sweet little boy. He's about 9 or 10 years old, Italian, but it's set in Assisi largely, and Rome, but Assisi primarily, and he's got a donkey with a lovely smile. It's so sweet. Black and white, 1951. Never take no for an answer. So everyone said his donkey was sick, you see. Everyone said, no, 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 you can't speak to, he first spoke to his priest, and then the Monsignor, and then the Pope, you can speak to the Pope. Pope's the big boss. But of course you can't, because you're just a little boy. So they kept saying no. And eventually, obviously, he gets through to the Pope, and the Pope says, it's just a sweet little film. So never take no for an answer. My mother's milk was an honest man has no superior. It's one of her phrases. Or enjoy this minute. So I am. It's a bit chilly here, actually. It rained overnight, which is great. All we need now is some sun on that. Positive note for a change with me. See if old Piaf can see us out without copyright cutting. She died very young, like 48, riddled with staff. Picture of staff, closing shot. Thy rod and thy staff shall comfort thee still. Cheerio!